Today I want to talk about how to get more playing time. And I know this is a long video, but if you're really committed to improving and committed to getting more playing time and just improving yourself as a player, I really challenge you to stick through to the whole thing. I got my notes here because I got a lot of points I want to make sure to get through. But before we jump into it, I want to give a little context about myself and this channel. My name is Weston, and I created this channel to basically give advice to younger athletes who are in the shoes that I was in and things that I wish I would have known at the time. These videos are for athletes who are serious about getting better and feel underrated. Maybe they're undersized, under-recruited. Their coaches don't see potential in them, but they know in their hearts that they have the potential to be great. So if you're that kind of athlete, this is the channel for you. And just to give a little context about my story, I'll go through it more in depth in another video. But just to give a brief overview of it in terms of playing time, football and basketball are my main sports. I'm still playing football, not basketball. I just play pickup. But in high school, I didn't start a game varsity in football, but my senior year I ended up getting a preferred walk-on to a Division I school. I didn't go there. I went to a bigger school, Power 5 Division I school. I walked onto that team through tryouts, and then a coaching change happened, and my roster spot wasn't honored by the new coaching staff. So then I had to retry out with this new coaching staff, which was around a month ago, and they didn't take any players in my position from the tryout. So currently I'm not playing, but I think my story is ongoing, and like I said, I'll talk about that more in another video. And then basketball, I was on JV my sophomore and junior year of high school, ended up starting varsity my senior year of high school. So I think my perspective to speak on this topic doesn't come from a place of having some crazy success story or being some insane All-American, but having a vast array of experiences in sports. I've been back up on a freshman team to touring a Division I facility the day after I made the team. I played with terrible coaches. I played with great coaches. I've started on a team. I've sat the bench and got cussed out by my coaches. So I think all those experiences are what give me the perspective to speak on this and give you some things that can really help you out in your situation. So first, I'm gonna go through some mindset things that are important, the overall mindset you should have in this situation where you're not getting a lot of playing time. And then secondly, I'm gonna go through some more specific tactics you can actually do to improve your game and get more playing time and be better off for your career. So starting off with the mindset, the first thing that we have to establish is it's easy to be caught up and so focused on the playing time, but I want your number one focus to be your skill and your improvement. Take all the negative energy you have from not playing. Your number one focus should not be, man, my coaches suck, why is this happening, da-da-da. Your number one focus should be doing whatever you can to improve, your skill. And what does this actually look like? Well, the main thing that you need to do if you're not getting playing time on your team means you're not getting game reps. Game reps or live reps are extremely valuable for your development as a player. So you need to get those reps however you can. I'll give you a couple ways to do this. One, play on it's basketball, AAU team in the off season. If it's football, 7-on-7 team in the off season. If it's another sport, any kind of club team in the off season. Play on a team. Don't just hop onto the best team and try to clout chase by saying like, oh, I play on the number one 7-on-7 team in the state. That's whatever. If you really care about your skill and value that number one, you're gonna play on a team, of course play on a good team, but you wanna play on a team where you know you can get a lot of playing time and a lot of reps, because that's what you need. You're not getting it at your school. And training cannot perfectly replicate game reps. So you need to get as many game reps as possible. If you're a basketball player and you're not getting game reps, you need to be playing a lot of pickup. Now, obviously balance this with your other training. If you're in season, you're not gonna be able to play pickup as frequently because then you're just gonna overrun yourself. But play pickup as much as you can against high level competition to get those game reps. If you're a football player, this is a little harder, but like I said, 7-on-7. So that's the first way to do it. Find ways where you can get game reps. The second way to get more game reps is by really taking advantage of practice. Practice is your game. So you should be on scout team or on second team, whatever you guys call it, and really be focused intensely on learning from every practice and approaching it as if it's a game, because that's where you're gonna see the improvement. Thirdly, you need to vary your training and make your training more reactive and more similar to games. Instead of just having a pre-designed training program where you know what you're gonna do ahead of time every single rep, have some drills where you have to react to a partner. If you don't have a partner, you could have headphones in and do your drill off of a timer. Do some freestyle work where you're not just completely premeditated in what you're doing. Ideally, you can have some guys to play with. If you're a basketball player, do one-on-ones, one-on-twos, play 21 with guys. Football player, do one-on-ones. You know, you could do like a receiver, slot receiver, linebacker, corner, and safety, a 2-on-3. Kind of small games that you can work into your training. This will be extremely valuable because the more experience you can get reacting to other people in terms of the game, the better, because you're not getting that from your team. So that's one way to improve skills. Secondly, you need to get on a good, consistent training program in terms of weightlifting and athleticism. This is not, I don't want you to go on TikTok and pick out from those random videos that are like 3 best exercises to improve your vertical jump. Those get people so twisted up. And I'm gonna dive much deeper into this in another video, so I'm gonna have a very oversimplified explanation right now. But your workouts, especially if you're younger, should be extremely simple. You should be sprinting, you should be changing direction, doing some agility work, you should be jumping, you should be lifting heavy, compound movements, and then if you need to put on some muscle, if you're a little skinnier, you should be doing some higher rep movements to build hypertrophy, which is basically just increasing the size of your muscle. And then you need to have some kind of cardio work, some kind of conditioning. And this is very simple. Design a very simple training program, not with any insane, crazy exercise. You don't need bands, you don't need anything. Those are cool, but you don't need them. Focus on the simple foundational things and lock in on those and be consistent with those. So find places to get game reps, consistent training program. Also have a consistent skill training program for your actual skills. A lot of guys focus more on weightlifting than skills. I got into this trap my sophomore and junior year of high school specifically. I was way more focused on the gym than I was on my skills. And the gym is only a means to an end. Ultimately, the gym doesn't really matter for your sport. It's all about your skill. So your skill is number one. Design a really consistent and a really effective skill training program for yourself. Focus on the fundamentals and incorporating game reps into it. And find a trainer if you can too, if that's available to you. That can be helpful as well. So to summarize all of that, your skill is the number one priority. And as your skill improves, you're going to improve your chances of getting playing time. The next important point with the overall mindset is understanding and maximizing the growth that you can get from the situation. A lot of players shut down when they're not getting the playing time they want. They approach the situation so negatively and they get so angry at the situation. Understand that this is a part of your story, and this situation is going to give you advantages that other guys won't have. If you're in high school, when you get to the next level in college, a lot of those guys are not going to have the experience of not getting playing time. And most guys in college don't get playing time, so it actually gives you an advantage, and there's extremely valuable things you learn from not getting playing time and learning how to interact with your coaches and how to improve your skill and how to work your way up a depth chart. So take advantage of the situation. Don't look at it as a negative. This is part of your story, and you can learn very valuable lessons from the situation. Don't just shut down and be closed off to the situation, but actually grow and understand that this is part of your development. The third part of the overall mindset is your identity. And I'm going to dive deeper into confidence in another video, because that's extremely important for athletes and a big hurdle that I had to overcome. But your identity can easily get caught in whether or not you're playing. I challenge you to really start, instead of attaching your identity to how much playing time you get or how well you play, attach your identity to who you are and the kind of player you are. Are you the player who's disciplined, who takes their job seriously, who trains consistently, who's a great teammate, who is competitive, who's a dog? Connect your identity and confidence to that instead of what your coaches think of you. This is a hard transition to make, and I'll talk about it more in future videos, but it's extremely important to do, especially when you're not getting playing time, because that can really eat at you, and I know how that is. So those 3 points: valuing your skill, understanding that this is for your growth and development, and making sure your identity isn't tied to your playing time, are the 3 aspects of the overall mindset you need to carry with not getting a lot of playing time. Now we're going to go into the specific tactics. Stay with me here. I know this is long, but this will be valuable for you. So first, I want to talk about interacting with your coaches. So a common mistake is not realizing that coaches have the same ego and pride and insecurities that us as players have. So we wish that all coaches could be completely unbiased, but they aren't. A lot of the times they're going to play the guys who they might like a little more. If it's tight between 2 guys, they're going to play the guy who makes them feel better about themselves. And a mistake I made was I talked so much trash about my coaches. I didn't respect them. I thought they had no business coaching, and I kind of made that known. I would tell my teammates I thought that. I wouldn't tell them directly, but I'd kind of disrespect their authority and question the things they were telling us. And this is a terrible idea. I did it completely pridefully. I wanted to sound like, oh, I'm smarter, whatever. It does absolutely nothing for you. I really challenge you to avoid this. Don't talk trash about your coaches at all. If your teammates are egging you on, like, hey man, you should be getting more playing time. Coach doesn't know what he's talking about, just deflect it. I promise you it's for your own good. Just be like, oh yeah, I appreciate it, man. I'm gonna keep working. Just deflect it. Because you don't know how many people out there, how many teammates you have that are snakes, that might go and tell the coach what you said just to try to get on the coach's good side. And so that's first thing, don't talk trash about your coaches. Next, don't suck up to your coaches, but be respectful. Understand that even if it's a genuine question, some bad coaches will take things as an attack to their knowledge. So instead of questioning like, hey coach, why did we run that play? Hey coach, why are we doing this exercise? Don't question those kind of things. In certain situations, it sucks, but for your own good, it can just be better to just avoid those kind of questions. If you're gonna ask questions, frame it in a way that kind of validates the coach. So, if you're asking a question about what to do on a play, say, hey coach, like on this play, where would you say I should look first? What should my footwork be like when I catch the ball? If it's basketball, whatever it might be, but frame it in a way that makes it sound like you agree with what they're doing. And also be respectful. Please don't be a suck up. I hate those people, the guys who kiss up to coaches. Don't do that, but just be respectful to your coach. Even if you don't like him, you don't have to pretend you like the guy. I'm not for that at all, but just be respectful. If you see your coach, hey coach, at the end of practice, say thanks coach. If he tells you something, yes sir. Just be respectful, and I promise that will pay off. You don't need to love the guy, but all you have to do is keep him from hating you. Because I had coaches who hated me because I hated them. And if someone knows that you hate them, they're gonna hate you back. It's just human nature. So, the next tactic, you have to dominate practice. You have to really switch your mindset and be a killer. Like Kobe and Michael Jordan, they would destroy people in practice. So many athletes come into practice just lollygagging, and I'm not saying be a scout team hero where your coach tells you to run in slow-mo and you just deck someone and look like an idiot because you're like trying to make a play and impress the coach. Don't be that guy. But when you get on to full speed scrimmage, like be a dog out there. You have to be a killer and dominate practice. And if your coach doesn't see that, have the discipline to do that every single day. You come into practice and you dominate. You come into practice and you dominate. You come into practice and you dominate no matter what your coach is saying. He might not play you ever, but your mindset is that every day you're gonna dominate it. And even if you don't play on the team you're in now, I promise you that mindset is gonna carry over to the next position you're in, and you're gonna be levels above everyone else. Third thing, have the next play mentality. What does this mean? Whenever you're on the bench, always assume next play I'm going in, next play I'm going in, next play I'm going in, next game you don't get played, next play I'm going in. That's always your automatic mindset. And this can be draining to maintain because it's tiring. Like you might not get played for 5 games and you're still maintaining this mindset. But the reason why, and the lesson I learned, is that your opportunity will come, and it will come especially when you don't expect it to. When I was the most prepared, I didn't get an opportunity. But that 1 week that I got a little comfortable and was like, oh man, I haven't getting played, screw this, I'm gonna take it light this week. That's when I got the opportunity, and I wasn't ready. I had too many opportunities where I wasn't ready. So I promise you, even though it's hard, assume that the next play you're going in every time, and keep yourself mentally ready for that chance so that when it comes, you can capitalize on it and get more playing time. Next, you need to be the best you. You might have a guy ahead of you that is playing because he has a different play style than you that fits with what the coach wants. Don't try to beat that guy at his own game. Become the best at what you do. And I'm not saying don't work on your weaknesses, but you know what your play style is. If you're a 5'10" point guard, you're not gonna be running down the lane trying to dunk on guys. There might be a dude on your team who's a 6'7" point guard and is a slasher and is going to the rim. Don't beat him at his own game. If you're a shooter, you're a passer, whatever it is, develop your weaknesses, of course, but focus on what your game is, what your style is. If that's not appreciated on your current team, that's okay, but I guarantee you, if you're in high school, a college team is gonna appreciate that. And if you become the best you, you're setting yourself up for that opportunity. Next, you need to be the smartest player on the field, on the court, whatever it is. You have no excuses. You have no leeway. A guy who's the coach's favorite and is getting play time, if he messes up a play, coach loves him, so he'll give him another chance. You have no leeway. Coach is looking for a reason to take you out. You can't give him anything. If it's basketball, if it's football, whatever it is, soccer, I don't care. You need to go out there knowing everything your team is doing, every position. You need to understand what the other team is doing, watch film, and have a great knowledge of the game, because you can't let your coach have any reason to bench you. And you need to separate yourself from other guys, and this is a great way to do that. Last thing, and this one is probably, you might look at it negatively, but it's grades. And this sounds weird, but I promise you this is important, because I got my Division I preferred walk-on my senior year of high school from football, and a lot of it had to do with grades. Obviously, they wouldn't have given it to me if they thought I was just a bum, but I had minimal film and just some workout clips of me throwing and running and stuff. So they saw that and they're like, okay, we could tell this guy can at least play, but they didn't really know how good I was in game. But they were like, we're willing to take a chance on him because he has really good grades. If you don't have good grades and you don't get playing time, you're not going to get any opportunities. The only way you can get away with having good grades is if you're that guy and your coach is really putting you out there like, oh, this guy is so good, you're getting all the playing time, all the opportunity. If you have a 2.5, a 2.0, you know, you could get away with it if you're that good. Maybe not, because, you know, you might be undersized or not good enough, whatever. But if you're not getting the playing time you want, you have no leeway, like I said. So you need to be getting as good of grades as you possibly can to give any college coach, if you're in high school, the highest chance of taking a chance on you, because they don't really know who you are as a player if you don't have playing time. So you need to have the highest grades possible so that someone might take a chance on you. That's why I had my chance, my preferred walk-on senior year. If I would have had a 2.5, maybe even if I would have had a 3.0, that opportunity wouldn't have come. But because I had a really high GPA, I got that opportunity. So that's all I had to go through. And to wrap it up, I want to say that all of these are really great habits to have for life and for sports. And you might be in a situation right now where you're not getting the playing time you want, but I promise you, if you go through everything I mentioned in this video and really lock into it and do the best that you can with it, this will prepare you, because the situation that you're in right now, you will not be in it forever. And this is another important thing to know. Eventually, you're going to be on another team, you're going to have a new coach, players are going to leave, whatever it might be, there's going to be change in your situation. And I promise you, when that change comes, you can either be ready and have been preparing that whole time when you were in your struggle phase, or you could have been sitting there moping, sad, talking trash about the coaches, not improving your skill. That chance comes and you're not ready. So I promise you, approaching all of these things with focus, intensity, competitiveness will prepare you so that when that change happens and you're in a new space, in a new situation, you're ready to capitalize on it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this stuff was helpful to you. Don't know how many views this video will get, maybe 5, maybe 50, who knows. But if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. If you got all the way through this video, you are very committed and you're going to be great one day. So I appreciate it. Peace.